My name is Thomas Riley, but folks just call me Tom. I'm 68 years old. I live in a quiet town in Ohio where the days are slow and the coffee is strong. I've been driving a yellow school bus for nearly 20 years. That might not sound exciting to most people, but I'll tell you something. If you sit behind the wheel of that bus long enough, you start to see life a little differently. I wake up every morning at 5:15 sharp. No alarm needed anymore. I take my coffee, black, 2 sugars, and watch the sun crawl over the trees outside my window. My knees aren't what they used to be, and my back has its own schedule for when it decides to ache. But that's just how it goes when you've lived a full life. Anyway, I'm not here to complain. I'm here to tell you about a boy who sat on my bus. A boy named Marcus, and a peanut butter sandwich. Now, I've seen thousands of kids in my time. Loud ones, quiet ones, ones who never stop talking, and ones who never say a word. Some are full of stories, and some, like Marcus, carry stories they don't tell anyone. This all started in the winter of 2019. It was one of those cold weeks where even your breath feels like it might freeze midair. Snow hadn't started falling yet, but you could feel it in the sky. The town was gray. Trees were bare. The wind bit straight through your jacket. There was a new name on my passenger list. 5th grader. Apartment 4B on Maple Street. I pulled up to the building, and sure enough, out walked a boy. Red hoodie pulled tight over his head, backpack half-zipped, shoes that looked one size too small. He didn't run, didn't wave, just walked slowly, like someone twice his age. He got on the bus, didn't say a word, and sat way in the back. That was Monday. On Tuesday, same thing. Not a word, not a smile. He looked out the window the whole ride, arms wrapped around himself, like he was trying to disappear into the seat. On Wednesday, I noticed he had the same clothes, same hoodie, same shoes. And when he walked, his steps were careful, not clumsy like most kids, but like he was always on alert. Now, I'm not the kind of guy who pushes. Some kids just need space. But something about Marcus, it wasn't just shyness. It was heaviness, the kind that sits in your bones. That Thursday morning, he got on without his backpack. I said, "Hey there, everything all right?" He paused, looked at me just for a second, then nodded and walked to his usual seat. But in that quick glance, I saw something I've seen before: sadness. Not the kind from a scraped knee or a bad grade. Deeper than that. That evening, I couldn't stop thinking about him. I kept picturing that empty backpack and the tired look in his eyes. So the next morning, I made 2 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches instead of 1. Wrapped them in foil, tossed them in my lunchbox. When Marcus climbed on, I said, "Hey, I made an extra today. Want one?" He hesitated. Then, wordlessly, he took it. Didn't eat it right away, but I could tell he was holding it carefully, like it mattered. From then on, I brought him food every day. Sometimes just a sandwich. Other times, a banana, an extra juice box, or a granola bar. I never asked him if he needed it. I just offered, and he always took it. Over the weeks, he moved up a few rows. Started sitting near the middle of the bus. Started nodding when I said good morning. And then one day, out of nowhere, he cracked a smile. It was small, quick, but it was there. I had just made a dumb joke about the heater not working. Said something like, "This bus is colder than my ex-wife's stare." Marcus laughed. Quiet but real. That small laugh changed something. He started talking just a little. Told me he liked to draw. Said he liked dinosaurs and outer space. He didn't say much about home, and I didn't ask. But I noticed he always held his food with 2 hands, like it was something precious. And he always ate it before we reached the school. Then came the Friday before winter break. It was snowing, thick flakes falling sideways. I was running behind, and when I pulled up to Marcus's building, he wasn't outside. I waited, 5 minutes. 10. Nothing. That afternoon, he didn't get on the bus either. I asked the school front office about him. The secretary looked uncomfortable. They moved out, she said. Eviction. Last night. No one really knows where they went. That hit me hard. Real hard. I kept looking for him. At shelters. At the library. At the park. Nowhere. Weeks passed. Then months. I still packed extra food every day. Couldn't stop. It had become a habit. A small way of saying, I still remember you, kid. Then one day, sometime in March, I found a small envelope taped to the door of my bus. It was handwritten, Mr. Tom. Inside was a note, messy but clear. Hi, it's Marcus. Sorry I left. We had to. My mom lost her job and we stayed in a shelter for a while. Now we live with my aunt in Dayton. It's better here. I have my own bed now. I miss the bus. I miss the sandwiches. I miss how you didn't talk too much. That helped. I wanted to say thank you. You made me feel seen, even when I didn't talk. I hope you're still driving. From Marcus. I sat in my driver's seat for almost an hour that morning. Didn't even turn the key. That little note hit harder than anything else in my 20 years behind the wheel. You know, we go through life thinking it's the big things that matter. But sometimes it's a sandwich, a nod, a seat on a bus, just showing up, quietly, again and again. I still have that note. It's laminated now, tucked in my sun visor above the mirror. I see it every morning when I start the bus. Some days are noisy, some are cold, some are long. But every now and then, I look at that note and remember that I made a difference. And that matters. Not all heroes wear capes. Some of us just drive a yellow bus, carry an extra sandwich, and wait for a quiet kid to smile. Anyway, that's my story. Thanks for listening.